Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Sustainability Spotlights. I'm your host, Lavanya, and today we are diving into the intersection of technology and market demands in the realm of sustainable products. Joining me today is Soline, the Head of Commercial Strategy and Sustainability at ICIS. Welcome, Soline. It is amazing to have you with us today.
Very happy to be here.
Before we get into the nitty gritty, Soline, could you share a bit about your background and the work that you're currently involved in?
Yes, of course. I'm Soline Guerineau. I'm head of commercial strategy for sustainability here at ICIS. That means I'm responsible for leading the current and the future direction of ICIS data, analytics, and insight strategy, supporting our customers as they go through their green transitions towards low carbon emissions and circular business models. Just a quick word on ICIS. We're an independent commodity intelligence service that provides data and analytics for the petrochemical and energy value chains.
Fantastic. Soline, to kick things off, can you provide some specific examples or insights into how technology is currently promoting sustainable practices in the business world?
So, if we take the chemicals industry as an example, right, we know it's a significant industrial energy consumer and also the third largest sector in terms of direct CO2 emissions. If you look at the International Energy Agency data, direct emissions from primary chemical production remained relatively constant over the past couple of years at around 935 megatons. So there are really two major levers to developing more sustainable products in the industry, and these are like circularity and decarbonization. And technology indeed plays a crucial role, whether it's through different energy uses and the industry going through their energy transition, whether it's by investing in cracker electrification or waste heat recuperation, but it's also new technologies in the recycling space, from mechanical recycling to advanced chemical recycling. It's also a diversification in the use of feedstocks, or the use of AI for waste management and waste sorting, as well as some technology improvements around carbon capture and storage. So definitely a lot happening, and in the future and now, technology really keen promoting sustainable practices.
Got it. Got it. So I see that a lot of things are happening, and there are always avenues for industries to pick up whichever means and ways or strategies that they're most comfortable around and can build on. So when it comes to technology and sustainability, Soline, what challenges do you see chemical enterprises facing in the process of developing environmentally friendly products? And on the flip side, what opportunities do these challenges present?
Yeah, so overall, right, we know there is a tri-dimensional pressures from regulators, investors, and consumers to actually push for the sustainability agenda, and those pressures are not the same everywhere across the globe, right? It's very much a fragmented world, and different regions don't have the same opportunities and challenges. However, one key thread that I see happening is the opportunity for democratization of a number of technologies. However, cost, margin, availability of feedstock, demand, volatility have been particularly acute challenges this past year. And the economics of greener products needs to be a key engine of change. Um, the other challenge is also around better, more granular, and more consistent measurement of CO2 emissions across the value chain. So, not only covering scope 2, but covering scope 3 as well. the industry has made progress. We've all potentially heard about what Together for Sustainability as an initiative has been pushing, but there's definitely more room for improvements and for industry maturity towards measuring scope 3 emissions before reducing scope 3 emissions. So the role of technology will be critical, but there's still a few hoops the industry needs to jump through to get there. But in the future, as the industry is able to leverage technology to produce greener products and greener feedstocks, this may become a competitive differentiator in certain regions. But really, we need to see an acceleration of the transformation and journey towards more circular, low carbon business models.
Got it. Got it. So, Celine, you mentioned democratization of technology. Could you give specific examples of what it is, what democratizing is really meaning on ground and how it is unfolding?
Yeah, I think at this stage, right, there's a lot of experimentation that's ongoing, and there's still a need for these technologies to fully mature. We're seeing some spaces where that maturing is happening faster. If I take recycling industries, the ongoing rise of chemical recycling is one area where volumes are starting to happen, but there are other places where um, the solutions are not fully mature yet. I mean, what do you think, Lavanya? Like, do you see good examples, or do you see where do you see the challenges on your side?
Well, on our side, the challenges are, of course, and I would echo with you on the sustainability being a very close competitor to costs. So, of course, when we are looking at adopting new technologies, it comes at a price, and whether in companies or enterprises are able to pass on these prices to their customers or not, because like you said, that there's volatility, and this is a price competitive market that we're looking at. So that definitely is one challenge which is coming when it comes to adopting innovative solutions. So innovation is not just would also come in a way that it is not just bringing in new technology, but bringing a technology that is also competitive in terms of the price that we are seeing. And when you ask that whether we're seeing good adoption, I am pretty positive on what is happening. Like you mentioned, both one of my favorite ones has been more chemical recycling, and other chain of custody models where we are looking at circularity, where where companies are trying to see that within the limits of their existing technologies, how they can best implement solutions so as to still be able to make low carbon products.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing the same, right? That pressure to manage trade-offs between protecting your bottom line and becoming more circular, and implementing lower carbon business models. So it's not anymore about if, right, being sustainable or being profitable. It's about managing both and managing those trade-offs, which makes it more complex actually to navigate.
Right. I 100% agree that we have moved past being, the if question being there. I think it is absolutely necessary to be both profitable and sustainable in 2024. So I know, Celine, you briefly mentioned that there is like a trilateral pressure from investors, from customers, and from internal stakeholders. But what are your thoughts on the major factors that are driving this shift of innovation and of bringing innovation and technology in for sustainability?
Yeah, I think there we need to look at the almost like macroeconomic trends and dynamics, right? So if you look at the global consumption of chemicals at ICIS, we expect it to rise by 23% from 2022 to 2030. And that's despite the macroeconomic challenges the world faced in 2023. So that means that even if the product by product carbon footprint curve overall flattens, the emissions overall will continue to increase. So the dynamics of supply and demand and the macroeconomics volatility that we've seen last year, which will continue into 2024, will be a key driver of how the sustainability agenda continues to evolve. Regulation is the other area, right? We know that 2 billion citizens will go to the polls in 50 countries this year. So we'll see continued evolution in regulation. And there, if you look at Europe, right, there'll be key regulations pushing the sustainability agenda, like the corporate sustainability reporting directive, the European plastics packaging waste. And in the US, right, the Inflation Reduction Act is pushing for more investment across the value chain. So these will be key drivers to pushing the sustainability agenda. We also see consumers pushing for more sustainable products, and that awareness towards greenwashing also increasing. So those will be the, I think, the key levers that will continue to make the, continue to make the case for the innovation and technology agenda to continue to move faster.
Got it, got it. And what are the kind of industry dynamics that you are seeing changing in terms of, by the virtue of these more external like regulation and more macroeconomic situations? How are the internal industry dynamics changing with the increasing, given that the demand also for eco-friendly products is increasing as well?
Yeah, so I mean, I think as a result, if you look at the next 5 years, it's expected that sustainability related offerings
Hmm.
will account for nearly one third of the industry growth. That's going to create a potential 200 billion US dollars opportunity, which is huge, right? So lots of very exciting opportunities in ahead of us. Um, that also could trigger investment in new areas. So if I could, sorry, I'm going to rewind there. This could
Yeah, sure.
also open up investments in new areas like bio-based chemicals and feedstocks, for instance. Accenture estimates that bio-based plant investments account for 35% of sustainability related new plant investments between 2018 and 2022. And the global bio-based market was valued at $61 billion 2 years ago, right? So that, it's like new markets will emerge. And I think there'll also be more value chain integration with companies getting closer to waste sources or getting closer to renewable energy sources. So some major shifts potentially happening across the industry.
Yeah, and I would like to corroborate with that with Soline of what we've been hearing from our from Carboledger partners as well, is that they are engaging with customers, with their buyers more closely than they have ever before. So when it comes to product innovation, it is not just happening, that customers are coming and asking which products in your current portfolio can we pick up for being low carbon, but buyers are talking with their suppliers directly, taking part in innovation, pushing them to innovate more and seeing whether they can also be a part of the journey from cradle to grave, where we have seen our customers, our Carboledger users going to their customers and helping them in the best use cases, even in the end of life treatment of the product, in the use case treatment of the product. So it's like a communication and collaboration is building up in the industry as I think a reaction to the sustainability trends that we are seeing. So that's pretty interesting, to adding to what you mentioned.
Definitely. And collaboration and around innovation strategies is going to be absolutely key, is key already today, but will continue to be key. And to build on what you were saying, Lavanya, I think we're seeing some interesting cases and examples where the industry is partnering with startups or innovators to incubate new technologies and ideas. Um, if we can go through a couple of those examples, right? So, for instance, Covestro has a strategic cooperation agreement with five partners in China's photovoltaic value chain. Sasol has partnered with a Houston-based startup called Solugen to create cleaner chemicals. And this push is also happening downstreams, right? If you look at Coca-Cola, they've recently unveiled an initiative to transform plastic production. They are spearheading a pioneering project with the University of Swansea to aim to produce bottle tops using CO2 directly captured from the atmosphere, right? So of course, these projects will now need to scale, but you can see how collaboration is starting to happen across the industry and across value chains.
Right, right. So talking of scale, I definitely see that scale will be a challenge to come. But you mentioned some wonderful examples here, Soline, and just so that our listeners who may be less familiar or who are just getting to know a little bit more about or getting into this journey themselves, could we discuss the challenges that one may foresee in the journey towards sustainabilities, and what are some common obstacles in implementing the strategies that we spoke about, and how is it that businesses can overcome them?
I think it's we're going to go back to this idea of managing the trade-offs being profitable and being sustainable. So it is about also internal stakeholder management within those companies. It's also about sometimes being a pioneer in an industry that's still maturing towards their sustainability journey, and also being able to identify the right partners and the right startups. There's also an opportunity for market consolidation in the current context, where some of the larger players may see an opportunity to acquire some innovators to actually speed up their innovation pathways. But then, with all of that said, it's going to be about finding where the demand is for those new greener products and figuring out what the right pricing is going to be for those products. And as you've said there earlier, Lavanya, there is collaboration across the value chain, whereas some of the petrochemicals players are collaborating with their own clients and customers so that they can create and build products that are going to be suitable to their customers' applications. Those are the things that come to mind when you ask that question of like challenges and solutions.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Soline. And I understand that there is a lot of collaboration and cooperation with newly emerging startups that is happening. And of course, more cross industry. When I say cross industry, there is a lot of collaboration that is also happening across the value chain, which is what, Carbo Ledger sees a lot. And I see that technology playing a great role here. So technology startups like ourselves playing a great role here in bridging the collaboration gap, and technology also can play a great role in helping manage the efficiencies on ground, which will be absolutely essential because we're talking of industries working with smaller suppliers, or with looking into acquisitions. And so there's a lot of activity that will be going on ground, and we do need more efficient systems in place such that all the manual workload is can be given for machines to do, and more of the strategic decision making can be done by the companies themselves.
And that's really exciting, right? Because if you bring automation together with technology, together with data, right, that's trustworthy, that's independent, then that gives the industry the ability to really navigate the decisions in the best way possible.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So I think, we are running against time, and decision making, timely decision making will be an absolute necessity. And data is I think, the key ingredient here in this recipe to make those timely decisions. Uh, Great. So, Soline, we are near to conclusion. And as we conclude, would love to hear your thoughts and reflections on emerging trends that will shape the future of sustainable products.
Yeah, where we're seeing um, a lot of opportunity is at the intersection of the energy transition and the material transition. So to drive sustainability, it's about decarbonization on one end. And there to that effect, it's like, what are the new sources of energy the industry can use, from hydrogen to renewable energy to electrification of the crackers. And that's going to be married with what are new feedstocks? How can the industry create lower carbon, greener products? And this will all be made possible through data, technology, and innovation, as we discussed earlier. And I think there'll be an opportunity for those first movers to really create a competitive advantage and position themselves as first to market, and really win the economic battle as well.
Right. I agree with you, Celine, here is that the first movers will definitely have an advantage over there, building trust, and, trust making a feedback loop to how the market demand is increasing as well. So these were absolutely essential and wonderful insights, Soline. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. It's clear that the intersection of technology and market demand is paving the way for a more sustainable future. As we conclude, I want to encourage our listeners to stay informed about sustainability trends and consider implementing relevant strategies in their businesses. Thank you for joining us on the Sustainability Spotlights. Until next time, stay sustainable.